What's up guys, Houndish here today with just a quick roundup of a few Destiny 2 things. I want to talk about some hidden exotic perks in the database, as well as this we've got a patch coming later today. I also wanted to talk about a new patent by Activision, which essentially is for loot-based matchmaking in multiplayer games, which is interesting, as well as a few words about possible Xbox One X enhancements and a couple of other things. So the first thing I wanted to point out is something pretty interesting. If you look at intrinsic bonuses inside of the Destiny 2 database, you can see all of the kind of base legendary intrinsic perks, as well as the intrinsic bonuses for all of the exotics in the game. But inside of here, there are actually two intrinsic bonuses for exotics that don't have information or names or anything like that. So when you look at a bonus for an existing exotic, you can see the name right there and the description for what it does. But there are two additional intrinsic exotic perks which look kind of like placeholders. They don't have names or descriptions for what they do. Every other exotic in the game is actually here in the database. There aren't any placeholders for legendary intrinsic bonuses, so it doesn't look like this is kind of a generic base for any exotic. So it looks like there could be a couple of exotics actually hidden away in the game. Luke Smith had said previously that he doesn't want to set the expectation that there are kind of hidden exotic quests and things like that, but obviously with potential live events coming up, future updates, and then DLC, which is supposed to drop literally within a few weeks of now, it looks like these are a couple of exotics potentially that we'll be getting our hands on soon. The next thing I wanted to talk about, there will be a patch dropping today on the 19th of October. Bungie haven't given us any patch notes yet, so we will have to wait until it actually drops, but there will be a server maintenance with expected downtime of 4 hours starting at 8 AM PDT. Players will begin being actually removed from the game at 9 AM, and at the end of the downtime we should expect some patch notes. There are a few things. There is the kind of callous bug inside of the raid. There's also been the kind of broken bureaucratic walk emote that's allowing people to do all kinds of things. We've got various issues with prestige nightfalls. The nightfall was actually changed this week, so Bungie have quite a few things to be fixing up, and I'll keep you guys posted on exactly what the changes are. The next thing I wanted to talk about, there's been a bit of conversation about this online. Activision actually filed and completed a patent for a system which essentially allows some loot-based matchmaking inside of games. And basically it's a system that they're going to use for multiplayer matchmaking, where they can actually kind of select players that have cosmetic items and microtransaction items to be paired up with players that don't have those items in order to actually try and promote, you know, the purchase of items or similar items. So obviously there are very mixed opinions about this. Some people really don't like it, but what I wanted to point out specifically is that Deej came out and said none of this functionality appears in Destiny. So this isn't actually a system they are currently using inside of Destiny. It's probably more likely to be things like Call of Duty and probably some of the Activision Blizzard games, specifically things like Overwatch, but we have been assured that it is not present in Destiny. Up next, I just wanted to point something out very briefly about the Xbox One X. There haven't been any confirmed enhancements for Destiny 2 on the new console, but with an interview with Game Informer, a Microsoft employee did say that games like Destiny 2 and Star Wars Battlefront are simply going to run way better on Xbox One. And this was in reference to Xbox One X or Project Scorpio, but considering how little news there has actually been, I just thought I'd mention that. Obviously that doesn't confirm that you'll see things like 4K necessarily. It could just be a generic statement that, you know, the game will run well on the console because it's powerful, or it could actually hint towards enhancements. We'll have to wait and see, but if you're one of the players curious about this stuff, that is pretty much all we have to go on right now. Finally, the Prestige raid has now launched. We now know for certain that the items from the raid include the new versions of the armor set, which is essentially kind of reskinned armor with a different shader. They do have different names and kind of lore details. You can also pick up the hard mode shader inside of the raid, and if you're running the Acreus quest, you can actually unlock an ornament when you finish the Prestige version. Been a lot of mixed opinions about this as well. I actually think it's pretty lackluster. I'm not sure why we're seeing activities that are this difficult feel so unrewarding in comparison to Destiny 1. It's a very similar situation with the Prestige Nightfall as well. I really think Bungie need to look at the rewards for the hardest content in the game. There's some really challenging content that can be quite fun to play, but it just seems right now that there is this kind of fear of over rewarding anything that's really difficult because it's going to alienate players who can't do that content, or at least that's kind of the impression and the pattern I'm seeing with the endgame content in Destiny 2. But those are just my thoughts. I'd be curious to hear what you guys think below. But that is going to sum up this video, guys. Just a few interesting things. If you have enjoyed it, a like is appreciated below. Let me know your thoughts on any of this stuff in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see more Destiny 2 news and content. For now though, thanks for watching and have an awesome day.